All right, so it's the day before Thanksgiving, and my shirt says it all: eat, sleep, repeat, because it's exactly what I'm going to do: is eat, sleep, and repeat. It's cloudy, so I'm going to turn the slide on to give it a little bit of something, but it's not going to help much because it just, yeah, it's just dark. But one of the things that I love about the city, which there's a lot of things I love about Tacoma. I don't pull no bones about it. It's not the city for everyone, but this is definitely a city for me. I love this city. One thing about Tacoma is that it can be cloudy like this and look like it's about to rain. And you're like, oh, it's going to rain, so I'm not going to even mess with going and mowing the grass real quick. And literally, it'll be nice and sunny. And sunny, and there's no wind. And if you go out there and try to do something, boom, the clouds come back and it starts to sprinkle. It's just it's a unique place where the temperature is going to bounce all over the place. You never really know. It's not, you can't really just peg it and say it's going to be like this. It's just, that's Tacoma. That's this area. But anyhow, making this video, be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. Someone had written to me and they said to me, and it wasn't really an ask her, she know, it's kind of a statement saying that this was a few days ago, that they are not celebrating Thanksgiving because of the history behind it, and that they feel that more should be spoken about the tragedy behind all of this. And also mentioned that, in the past they had went to Thanksgiving celebrations with their family, but now they do not celebrate the holiday whatsoever, and they don't understand why people celebrate this holiday. And this individual is a black gentleman who said that he doesn't understand why that this holiday is celebrated. And I'm going to say this, without going into the deep dives, there's a lot of things in American history that is tragic. Not only American history, but America current. There's a lot of things that are tragic. And you cannot get bogged down in the weeds about every single thing that involves this country, because if you look behind a lot of things, there's a dark story behind it. There's a story behind everything, and it is not the greatest, right? It's always some sort of tragedy. And the best ways to navigate America, I've found, is to work within your environment to improve your environment. Work within your situation to improve your situation. Because if you get bogged down in the weeds, you're never going to really experience life. You're never going to experience the freedom that you truly do have, because you're going to mentally put yourself in a position where you cannot enjoy those things. You cannot see beyond those other things. The city of Tacoma, which I was just talking about, has a bad history. If you look at the past of what this city has done, and some would say there's even injustice going on today. Manuel Ellis is an example. And the newspaper guy, right? There's still issues. It's not a utopia. It's not 100% one of the best cities on this side of the country, but there's still issues here. Don't get me wrong. But when you look at the past of what life was like, and the present, and even in the future, there's going to always be things that are a problem or have a traumatic history, right? The way that the natives were treated here, or the indigenous population, is more of an appropriate term, but the indigenous people, what they went through, not only here, but across the country, was horrible. The Japanese Americans, I'm looking at an area here on Pacific Avenue in downtown Tacoma, and that used to be Japantown, and it was destroyed because of the discrimination that Japanese faced during World War II. And so a lot of people did not want the Japanese here. And in fact, the leadership at the time helped get them out of the city. Tacoma has had a bad history in the past, and that's not the only. There's other stuff too, including black folks and everything else. Of course. Of course. So when you start to focus on one particular event, whether it be Thanksgiving or whatever, and you say, I'm not going to celebrate it because of the past history, or the Pledge of Allegiance has its own, negative history and all this other stuff, or not the Pledge of Allegiance, but the Star Spangled Banner and all this stuff. I get it. But there's going to be a whole lot of things that you're not going to celebrate because, as I mentioned, there's a lot of things that have a negative history. There's a lot of states in America that have a very horrible past, the country itself. So you end up being on this tiny little space of where you can't really enjoy much and you can't celebrate much because everything has something negative about it. Our Discord's getting kind of busy, so be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. We often have a whole lot of different conversations. Recently, cryptocurrency has been the main topic because there's a lot of investment going on, a lot of unique things happening in the world when it comes to cryptocurrency. But getting back to this. So for me, I celebrate something that's important to me. I don't care about how something was intended. If you think about it, this country was not necessarily intended for me or for you. This country wasn't intended for me, right? But when we're looking back at the founding fathers, it wasn't intended for me. And some would argue that there's a lot of laws that still make it where it's not technically intended for me. I'm just kind of, people of color are just kind of somewhat tolerated, maybe. But to me, Thanksgiving is about a reflection point of what I'm thankful for in my life. I don't look back at the Pilgrims and all these other people and all of that and say, well, we're thankful that we have America. That's not where I take it. I take it as I'm thankful for the blessings that I have. I'm thankful that I'm able to see 43, hopefully see 44 next year in January. I'm thankful that I have a business that's doing very well, that provides a needed service to people, and that people love coming in there and experiencing what we provide. That we have a city that's very supportive. Last night we received a recognition from the city. The mayor of Tacoma recognized our business. It was in a proclamation to recognize small business, and we were one of the businesses that was mentioned. The other one was Stock List, another amazing store here in Tacoma. It's female owned, and ours is Black and Asian owned as well as female. Our business. And so to go beyond just that point, I'm thankful for having a house in a market that is impossible for a lot of people. And it's growing so every single day. I'm thankful for the fact that I have 2 vehicles out here that's running, both of them paid off. We got the SUV 3 months ago. For it doesn't even have 1,000 miles on it. We don't really drive the thing. I think it has 6. When we got it, it had 21 miles. We went to Ocean Shores and back, so that added probably 300 miles to it. But I think right now we're at 640 miles, 650 maybe, right? But we got that 3 months ago and it's paid off. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to be blessed to be able to do that, right? I'm thankful and blessed that we paid this house off, that we've been in it for 4 years, and we're gonna go through and do some remodeling now that contractors they're still busy. I mean, they're busy for months out, but now that contractors are able to actually work again, and hopefully prices will start to go down on some stuff like wood and different things. It's now time for that. But I'm blessed and thankful for a lot of things in my life. The fact that I have an amazing partner. My wife is the epitome of what a woman should be in my eyes, in every aspect. So, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for my children, who are a pain in my butt a lot of times, but are so amazing and inspiring, and they drive me to be a better father every single day. My wife drives me to be a better man every single day. So there's so many things I'm thankful for, right? That to me is what Thanksgiving is about, is to be able to sit down and share a meal with the people who I love the most and say, this is our day, because I don't have a lot of time to sit and really do that. You know, Noelle and I, we're busy literally all the time. There are things I had to turn down because I'm too busy to really be a part of it. And I hated to turn those things down. There are other things that I've done, like, for example, I got to be on the arts board here in the city to view projects and things like that. It was an amazing experience. I'm thankful for that. But I had to carve out time for that, which I made sure I did, because art means so much to me. And my city means so much to me. So those things, I love, but there are other projects that were a lot more in depth and things that would take a tremendous amount of time and we just couldn't do. Noelle, she was a part of the judging panel for the Daffodil Festival here in the city. So again, it shows you how Tacoma embraces you. When you put yourself out there, the city embraces you. I just didn't have the time to be a part of the Daffodil Festival, and both came at the same time, both of these projects. There's another thing that I'm going to be a part of too. But Noelle took over the Daffodil thing, and it was perfect, right? So to me, and to answer your question, yeah, there's a lot of things that may have a bad past and that do have a bad past, but we can't look at it from that standpoint, because you're still just keep constantly kicking at the same thing over and over and over again. Everybody knows that it's not that this country has a horrible past, but there are ways to build from it, not move past it, because I think moving past something means that it's way back there, let's not even think about it. But moving from it, right, building from it, I should say, is a lot better. You're building from the ruins or the trauma that existed. You're building from that. You're seeing exactly where we were and maybe where we are, but you're building from that to basically say, I'm building this because there's been a problem, or that there currently is a problem. And to me, I think that we view Thanksgiving that way, and not in the traditional sense as to what it was meant to be about. And people can view it however they want. There are some people who have that traditionalist viewpoint, and that's completely okay. There are some people that don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving because of their own beliefs. That's completely okay. It's not a one-size-fits-all. What makes this country amazing is the fact that we can all have different views. We can see things from a different set of lenses. It doesn't make a person right or wrong. They're just seeing it from a different lens. And so I think that if you don't want to celebrate it, that's completely okay. And it's okay if other people of color, the BIPOC community, it's okay if they do celebrate Thanksgiving. And it's okay if they don't. You get what I'm saying? I see folks on Facebook going back and forth, fighting over this. And it's not something to fight over. You get what I'm saying? It's not something to fight over. We have our set of beliefs, and that's okay. If that doesn't make your belief right, it doesn't make it wrong. It's just your belief. It's your thoughts. It's your value system, right? Your value system should not be, demeaned. Hold on one second. Okay, it was the squirrel. The kids call the squirrel Sammy. Silly. So we have a squirrel that comes. We think it's the same one, but it could be 10 different squirrels. But I think it's the same one because he hits the same spots in the yard. He buries his little peanuts that somebody gives him, and then it's funny, right? But then we have a crow that always hangs out here, him and another crow. And they call the crow Carl. And I don't know what they call the other one, but Carl seems to be the one that's mainly out here. This is Noel and the kids naming wildlife. And so then we have all these other birds that come in our yard, mainly in the summer and the late spring. But yeah, they named everything that comes to the yard. It's the funniest thing, but it was actually the squirrel setting off the sensor. But back to this, yeah, if you don't want to celebrate a holiday, that's completely cool. I to me, I believe in the way of the maroons, right? I mean, hence the color. And to me, it's easy to get angry over a lot of things, and there's a lot of things to be upset about. And that's okay. But I think the way that you handle those emotions are what's important. You don't need to view everybody that doesn't look like you as the enemy, because that's not the case. There's so many people out here that want to make a community better. There are many people that want to make the community in this country a whole lot better than what it is. The problem is oftentimes the media or even social media highlights the trouble, and they amplify that more than they amplify the good. There are a lot of people doing a lot of bad things and crappy things, nasty things, evil things. There's a lot of people. But there are 10 times as many people doing amazing things that you never really get to see or hear about. And the reason why I tell people, especially young black men, and I'll go back to that, to focus on yourself and work on your community, be a part of your community. And your community, I don't mean necessarily just the black community. I'm a part of the community of Tacoma. I want to see everybody doing good. Even the people that like me, that don't like me, that love me, that have no opinion of me. I want to see everybody doing good. Because at the end of the day, if they're all doing good, I'm going to do good. And so that's the mentality of the Maroons for me, is that it is all about self-preservation, taking care of what's yours, but also taking care of your greater community and being a part of that. I don't necessarily focus on one or the other a lot of times because there's a lot of work in that. If anything, I focus on young black men because that's the journey I had went through. And I want to see young black men do better and to keep leveling up. I can't reach all. This is a very small platform. And the ones that I do reach, which may be one or two, that's cool. If I get one young black man who looks at this and say, you know what, I'm following you, bro, that's cool for me. Right? But I also am not trying to alienate white people or indigenous or Hispanic or Asian, because all of them are very important in our society. And all of them want the same thing, which is to live in a community that's vibrant, that is great to raise a family, where they can have a good job that's going to provide them the things that they need, a safe area. Everybody wants the same thing. So to me, be thankful for the things that you have, because there are a lot of people that don't have that. That's what you should celebrate. It's not about the past or the history of the holiday. It's about what you make of it, right? If I held on to the history of Tacoma, I could never see where the city is going and where it's at today. Anyhow, be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.